Hi, my name is Adam. I studied computer science and artificial intelligence in the UK, and I worked for 1 year as a software engineer at Toronto Formula One team. And today I am a data science specialist in the UK.
That you've heard it first. Hi guys, welcome back to LTF1. We've got a very special guest on today, as you've just heard, and we're going to be asking him some questions about working in Formula One. So, if we jump straight into it, the first one: when did you first have an idea that I might end up working in Formula One, or even just that I want to be working in Formula One?
I think, like most people, I was and I still am a big fan of Formula One, but I never imagined working in F1. And I think it became a reality when I was on my campus and I saw that there was a Mercedes talk, like the Formula One team. So naturally, I just went to see what this was all about. And they brought front wings and everything. So it was really exciting. And I just saw that they mentioned that they offered internships for anyone that studied a STEM subject, like something that had science or engineering or mathematics. And they had one position for computer science students. And it's when I realized that this was an opportunity. So I looked at every single team. I mean, there were only 11 at the time. And I just looked at which ones offered the internship and I just applied to all the ones that did.
That's quite interesting because usually, especially with elite motorsports like this, you see that uh, you have to train or be targeted towards something from when you're a kid, basically. But it's good that you were able to get into it even as you were older. And
Yeah,
you were kind of lucky in a sense that Mercedes came to your campus and
100%.
kickstarted your career.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, I would have never even imagined applying in Formula One. Like for you, it's something that you just watch on TV and that's pretty much it.
So what was it like, the process of getting through those applications?
So, I mean, you just apply online, like you send your CV, your motivation letter, obviously your grades, because we're still students. But essentially, you don't need any experience in motorsport. Like, they just want to see that you're smart, motivated, and you want to work in Formula One. And they're going to teach you everything there. So, I was one of the guys who knew a lot about Formula One because I've been watching since I can't remember. I think I was 7 when I started watching. But other guys, other interns, they had never watched a single race, but they were still working there. But you learn everything on the job.
That's quite interesting. I would have thought that, everyone there would be a massive
Same.
Formula One
I
fan.
was very
I've applied for a couple of internships. I ain't got any. I've applied for a couple. I know the first thing I put is I watch you. I
Yeah,
watch you.
exactly. That's what I put in my motivation letter.
So, what advice would you give to people that are looking at these options? Maybe people that are just starting out in their A levels or looking at uni options.
But obviously, to work in Formula One, you gotta do something that's linked to sciences and mathematics. So you can be doing computer science like me, like be a coder. You could be doing physics. It doesn't have to be specifically aerodynamics. So with me, there were other physics students just because they understood it and they could learn. That's why they gave them the opportunity. And obviously, if you do aerodynamics or mechanical engineering, then you have a very good shot at least being noticed by those teams. And there are also specific degrees. I think at Oxford Brookes, they're very specialized in, I think the degree is called motorsport engineering. And with those, you have a very good shot at entering internships in the teams of your dream.
Yeah, I know Oxford Brookes especially. I think they came second last year in the student formula program.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're very good.
Did you ever take part in the student formula?
No, I actually did not. I wasn't that interested. And I feel like it's because of the budget, like it's essentially Formula One with a very tiny budget and it's about building the car. Like they don't really need programmers like to analyze
Oh, okay.
data. It's the car and make sure it doesn't break down on race day.
I see. So you said that you are from a computer science background and you had physicists working with you. But what
Yeah.
was your role? And it was Toro Rosso, now Alphatauri, that you were with. What was your role for them?
Okay, so I worked on the aerodynamics aspect of the car. So just for some background, Torosso, I don't know if you know this, it's separated into 2 locations. So in Faenza, Italy, that's where there's the main factory and everything takes place there. That's where the car is built. And in the UK, in a town called Bicester near Oxford, that's where the aerodynamics department is. So we have the wind tunnel there, and that's where most of the research is done for aerodynamics. And so essentially I worked there on the CFD. So just in case you don't know, CFD stands for computation dynamic fluids. And it's just the aero simulations of the car. Like you can see how the air goes through the car, like the pressure points, anything that you would need to analyze the aerodynamics. And I worked there by essentially working on the data, how to process it, how to visualize it, interact with it, so that all the engineers could actually better analyze and make decisions based on this data. So they would know if the car part that they developed could be potentially good. And if it is, it's going to be actually physically created and tested in the wind tunnel. And if it's still good, then it goes onto the car for a practice session.
So then after that practice session, when we see the flow viz and the
Exactly.
rate,
The final test.
that data goes back to you?
No, I just work on the CFD, like just this initial.
So you're the first step.
I'm the first step. Then there's all the wind tunnel aspect. That's a whole other ball game. And then there's actually putting onto the car. And the goal is to have the same correlation. Like you want to have the same performance between the three of them. Like it has to behave the same way.
Was it high pressure?
What?
Did you feel the pressure of being part of the team, or were you isolated from that?
No, you do feel the pressure. Like you're very much part of the team, and you're every day reminded that you're working in Formula One and you gotta perform. But it's different because I'm not on the racetrack, if that makes sense. So there wasn't, I guess, this added pressure.
Did you ever get to go to a race weekend?
Yes, I did.
What was that like?
So it was a special one. It was Monaco 2018. So a very special race weekend. And I mean, so me, not even as an employee of Toro, so as a Formula One fan, I absolutely loved it. So I got paddock passes, and I went to the energy station, the famous one on the harbor, and just very nice. Like just being there, you see so many people that you recognize on TV when you're a fan. Like you see the drivers, you see Christian Horner, Marco Helmut, you see literally everyone. So I stayed there instead of watching the practice sessions.
2018, Daniel Redemption Day.
Redemption Day.
Did you jump in the pool?
No, I wasn't. For the race, I watched it. I actually want to watch the race because you can't see the racetrack from the energy station.
Fair
so I favor watching the actual race.
Fair enough. And would you say, have you been to race weekends outside of being with the team?
So I wasn't really working on that race weekend. I was there as a guest essentially.
Oh, you were there as a guest. I see.
Yeah, just to see the paddock, see the pits, just like enjoy the experience.
With a paddock pass, maybe you got to interact with some of the drivers. What were they like?
Yeah, I mean, you get to take pictures with them. That's the main thing. In our case, again, I think we're quite hardcore fans, so you recognize even the commentators on Sky. You recognize everyone. Like it's like you're in it essentially. It's very nice.
Could have accidentally bumped into Martin Brundle while he's doing his grid
walk. Oh, that would have been awesome. No, I saw Jacques Villeneuve doing his interviews for Canal Plus.
I see. That was your chance. That was your chance to make it on TV. Sky F1.
I was too much of a fanboy, just looking around and taking pictures.
Toro Rosso engineer interrupts Sky Grid Walk. He might have made his face.
That would be amazing. They would have probably made memes.
So what's it been like since you've left the team? Because you did a 1-year placement there, right?
Yeah. The specialty of those placements is you have to be studying your undergrad or a master's. Like you have to be a student and you have to go back, finish your studies after. So this was between my second and third year of my bachelor's. I finished it, went back to finish my bachelor's in computer science. And then I immediately went down to do a master's in artificial intelligence in Scotland.
What was that like, having worked so closely with the weekend? Does it change how you see the race weekends and practice sessions?
Yeah, completely. So for the race weekend, so again, I wasn't on the track, but we have the radio center, like just where you watch the race if you want. Obviously, you don't have to, and just you don't just watch the stream. So you have access to all the data that they have on the pit wall, and you have access to the radio stations. So obviously, I cannot touch anything. I'm an intern, but I could choose which radio to listen on. Like for example, this kind of engineer or just the commentator, and you can just like listen. So you get this other aspect of the race where you could just focus on the radio of one of the drivers instead of just watching the Sky race.
You got access to everything.
You just choose what you have access to. As long as you don't press that button by mistake, you're fine.
As long as you don't call over the radio and tell them to hurry.
Exactly.
How was Monza this year for you then? That must have been amazing.
Very, very emotional. I honestly, I missed it, if that makes sense. Like this emotion. So when I worked there, our best finish was P4 in Bahrain with Gasly. and that was already big celebrations. Like we're all so happy when they finished before such a good weekend. But I was so happy for the team when they did P1. Like I could imagine what that felt like. Like it's just the reward for all the hard work.
It's amazing. And are you now looking to go back into Formula One now that you've graduated?
Not just yet. So, but I'm still pursuing my career in artificial intelligence. That's what I reconverted into after working in Formula One. But I'm hoping one day maybe I could try to apply my AI knowledge into Formula One, if possible.
There's the Robocars series that's coming.
Yeah. There is.
There's a lot of buzz around that.
There is. I'm sure you saw the video where it just crashes into the wall.
Yeah, there's less buzz around that. But that's why they need you, because they're crashing into walls right now.
Yeah, they have to watch this podcast so they know.
We'll tell them. We'll send this to them, and we'll say, look, we've got your next stars here with us. So we can end the podcast there, but I would like to ask you what you think is going to happen in 2021. Alphatauri had a very strong year this year. You know some of the team. Do you think they're heading towards the sharper end of the grid?
Honestly, I think one thing for sure, they're not going backwards. Everything they're doing has been working. They have a good power unit. They have good drivers. I think Yuki Tsunoda is going to do a great job. And we also how Gasly can extract the performance of this car. It's like it's made for him. So I think they have a good lineup. There's no reason why it shouldn't work. So yeah, I think they're going to do quite well next year.
With that, we will end the podcast. You had it here first. Alphatauri are going to do very well next year. What, 5 wins? 5 wins.
Oh, I hope so.
If you enjoyed today's shorter video, then please leave a like or a comment. If you enjoy this type of content, then subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell because we've got a lot more coming on the way. Adam, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.